Hello, I am Jennifer Gonzalez Cabanilla, and I will be discussing the time value of money and the valuation of long term securities in Financial Management, MBA 104. Our first topic is time value of money. So, what is valuation? Valuation is the analytical process of determining the current or the projected worth of an asset or company. So, under this, we're going to discuss interest rates, simple versus compound interest, and how on amortizing a loan. What is interest? Interest is defined as the cost of borrowing money, as in the case of interest charged on a loan balance. Conversely, interest can also be the rate paid for money on deposit, as in the case of a certificate of deposit. So basically, if you borrow money and it will yield some interest, for example, you borrow $1,000 and interest is 10%. So in a month, at the end of that month, it will be $1,100. So there are two calculations in the interest, which are simple and compound interest. So the simple interest is calculated on the principal or original amount of a loan, while the compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and the accumulated interest of previous periods, and thus can be regarded as interest on interest. The simple interest formula is principal multiplied by the interest rate multiplied by the term or the time of the loan. So, for example, if a simple interest is charged at 5% on a $10,000 loan that is taken out for 3 years, then the total amount of interest payable by the borrower is calculated as $10,000 times 5%, which is 0.05, times 3, which is the time or the 3 years, equals to $1,500. So that's why it's called simple. You just need to multiply the principal, percent of the interest, and the years for the loan. The compound interest formula is calculated in a year as principal multiplied by the interest rate in percentage terms. Principal and then multiplied by 1 plus interest rate in percentage terms, and it will be raised into the number of compounding periods for a year. So compound interest is called as interest on interest because it is the total amount of principal and interest in the future or the future value less the principal amount at present, called the present value. The present value is the current worth of a future sum of money or stream of cash flows given a specified rate of return. For example, so we will just continue on the simple interest example and what would be the amount of the interest if we're going to use a compound basis. So in this case, our amount is $10,000, and on the formula you need to multiply it to 1 plus the percentage, which is 5% raised to 3 minus 1. So it will be 10,000 multiplied by 1.16 minus 1. So the total of interest is 1,576.25. And that is the total in 3 years compared to the simple interest that you will just have 1,500. While the total interest payable over the 3-year period of this loan is 1,576.25 rather, unlike simple interest, the interest amount is not the same for all 3 years because compound interest also takes into consideration the accumulated interest of previous periods. So in this table, in year one, if your opening balance is 10,000 and at the end of year one, you're going to have $500 interest, closing balance is 10,500. For the compounding interest, the next year, it will be 5% of 10,500 rather than the 10,000 principal amount. So at the end of the third year, you're going to have $11,576.25. So I have attached a video in this presentation regarding compounding interest by Investopedia. If you want to watch it in YouTube, you can do, but I will not be able to play it here because of the time limitation. And they really explain it further and it's easy to understand. So other compounding interest concepts are future value and the present value. For example, a $10,000 investment that earns 8% annually for 5 years will result in a future value of. You have to multiply the present value of it should be $1,000 and 1 plus the 8% divided by 1 raised to 5 years. So the result of the future value is 1,469. Our next topic is amortizing a loan. An amortized loan is a type of loan with scheduled periodic payments that are applied to both the loan's principal amount and the interest accrued. So how do we amortize a loan? First, we need to calculate the payment period, determine the interest in period T, compute principal payment in period T, determine ending balance in period T, and start again at step 2 and repeat. So I have an Excel sheet here to show you. So for example, you have a rate of 12% in 5 years and your beginning loan balance is 10,000. What will be the payment? It's $2,774.10. So I will show you the Excel on how it works. So this is the earlier example. For example, we will change the interest rate into 10%. And for 3 years. So the total amount to be paid is $4,021. So it's easier for us to do such formula in Excel and it will yield this amount instead of doing it manually. All right, so the next discussion will be valuation of long-term securities. It's all about bond. What is a bond? It is a fixed income instrument that represents a loan made by an investor to a borrower. So it is used by companies, municipalities, states, and sovereign governments to finance projects and operations. So we have a few characteristics of bonds. First one is the face value or the par value. It is the amount of money or it's the money amount the bond will be worth at maturity. Next one is the coupon rate. It is the rate of interest the bond issuer will pay on the face value of the bond. So we express the coupon rate as percentage. Maturity date is the date on which the bond will be matured. And the issue price is the price at which the bond issuer originally sells the bonds. We will be discussing two kinds of bonds, which is perpetual and a zero coupon bond. The perpetual bond is a bond that never matures, so that means it has an infinite life. So for example, bond J has a $1,000 face value and provides a 5% annual coupon. And the discount rate is 10%. What is the value of perpetual bond? What you need to do is, first, you need to get the I or the interest, which is 1,000 multiplied by the 5%. So that is $50. And perpetual bond is taken or is calculated based on I over discount rate, which is 10%. So the perpetual bond for this problem is $500. Zero coupon bond is also known as an accrual bond, and it is a debt security that does not pay interest but instead trades at a deep discount, rendering a profit at maturity when the bond is redeemed for its full face value. And we will be discussing the preferred versus common stock. The main difference between the preferred and a common stock is that preferred stock gives no voting rights to shareholders while common stock does. Preferred shareholders have priority over a company's income, meaning they are paid dividends before common shareholders. And common stockholders are last in line when it comes to company assets, which means they will be paid out after creditors, bondholders, and preferred shared holders. So before we end up our discussion, I have a video from Investopedia which discussed preferred versus common stock further. I'm gonna play this video. Okay, I apologize because it's not playing the audio. So if you will go to YouTube and just type in on Investopedia common stock versus preferred, they will discuss it further for you, and it is really easy to understand. And before we end up this discussion, bond price yield relationship. Discount bond is the market required rate of return exceeds the coupon rate. Premium bond, the coupon rate exceeds the market required rate of return, and the par bond, the coupon rate equals the market required state of return. Thank you for listening, and may you all have a good day.